Good afternoon, all. Very happy to be connecting with all of you for an interesting panel discussion and with esteemed guests and veterans from the industry. Poornima ma'am from LatentView and Ravichandran sir from Ramco. I'm very happy to being part of this panel discussion and doing a little bit of a moderation that we could do to uh, trigger some of the thoughts, best practices, and programs that could inspire from both these organizations. And the context of today's conversation is pretty much surrounded around the CSR spending in India, moving beyond metros and flowing into tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We know that last financial year, the CSR spend in India is around like 35,000 plus crores, and 27,000 companies have actually invested around 35,000 crores, and in various sectors. But unfortunately, the large volume of spend is around uh, the metros. And it still goes back to the initial days of CSR law evolution, where the first FAQs from Ministry of Corporate Affairs had a guidance that like a consider your CSR investment with the 5 kilometer radius of your organization was a guidance that was given. It was not a prescription, but it was an optional guidance that was given in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs FAQ. But 2021 revision took away that guidance. There's no more that 5 kilometer radius. It's not even restriction, that even guideline has been taken out. But still, I think a lot of the corporates are looking around that 5 kilometer radius. But there's a huge demand that's out there to bring in equality, to bring in equity. I think we have to start thinking beyond 5 kilometers. And a lot of organizations who have went beyond 5 kilometers, went beyond their headquarters and have done great work. And we have a couple of large organizations who have explored, who have tried that. And I would first welcome Mr. Ravichandran, Senior Vice President ESG from Ramco, to share their strategy of CSR and how Tier 2 and Tier 3 is of focus for your area, and probably one flagship program that you want to highlight us, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Bala, for inviting me to this panel discussion. See, basically, any cement industry is set up in a rural area, tier 2, tier 3. Okay? So basically, we operate in these areas, and our CSR activities is centered around this for the simple reason: one, any industry like cement, it is associated with the limestone mining. So when you do a limestone mining, there is an environmental degradation that is taking place, and there is a lot of natural resources being taken out, and a lot of natural resources like water we consume. So it creates a lot of commotion among the community. Though we go through the environmental clearances process, everything is done, but definitely this has an impact on the communities. So it is the responsibility of organization to take care of the community so that we can run the entire organization amicably. So we concentrate on few areas so that we will be able to build the trust with the communities. For example, education is the priority sector. In rural areas, when you look at the government schools, the kind of infrastructure available, and the kind of other lack of facilities, our focus is more on education, improving the government schools in not only on infrastructure and also in the academic part of it. Number two, if you look at health and sanitation is another major area. We have primary health centers in and around the factory, but they are not facilitated. So we undertake to upgrade this primary health centers so that it is able to give a meaningful medical facilities to the rural communities. And the third area, what we try to concentrate is water body rejuvenation. When we do a mining activity, when you take a lot of water for the cement plant and things like that, we ensure we adopt all the water bodies that are in and around the factory areas and the mining areas. We try to do the rejuvenation work, not only the rejuvenation of water bodies, we also do a mass plantation so that we improve the ecology and the environment to the surrounding villages. Here, I would like to give you an interesting case study what we did on the education sector. See, soon after the COVID, we all know what kind of impact it created. Private schools, they were able to move to the virtual mode and hybrid mode, but the entire government school system was left out in this. So that was the time we we identified an NGO called Kalvi 40, where they were trying to offer virtual solutions, low-cost virtual solutions to the government schools. So uh, uh, with that NGO, we were able to identify among the government sector schools, it was all the Dravida welfare schools which were in the category which where there were no facilities, no kind of resources. So it was a very neglected sector among the government schools. Then what we did is about 40 schools we adopted. So the first thing is what we wanted to give is not kind of an infrastructure. We studied how do we engage these children after this COVID. So we gave digital connectivity to all the schools. That was the first step. But after installing the digital connectivity and giving all the kind of support, still we were not able to see the improvement because the teachers were not tech savvy. They were technologically challenged. They were not able to utilize the facility. Then what we thought was this program we did for 4 years. Okay. The first year we gave the support and we identified unless and until we are able to take the government system along, it is very difficult to implement the program. Then we thought we will organize some kind of a paid assistance to these teachers who can be given the entire training to handle this digital structures and also other languages and so we identified candidates from the local villages. Probably we had some excellent volunteers who came in to train all this. Everything was done virtually. So second year, we were able to provide these facilities. We gave them the training, continuous training to all these teachers, and then we were able to take it to the children. The third thing is always these children there is a disengagement in the class. Then we thought we have to use Yelisai Nadagam, that kind of a person who can be able to influence these children and bring them the attention. So one drama Selvam, a very active person who was if you observe in 5 minutes, he is able to take the entire attention of all the children. So that person was president to service. He was able to address to all the children through his art form. And this gave, we were able to see the children getting attracted towards this art form of teaching. And these teachers were also trained to use this. Then we thought the missing links in the entire process is the parents, because these children from a very underprivileged background, they were disengaged, they were not able to concentrate on studies, they are not regular to schools. So unless and until we identify and fix the problem at a parent side, we will then only we will be able to give a meaningful thing. So we engaged, parents were called, they were also given a lot of input, the importance of education, and holistically when we did this for the last 4 years, we were able to achieve a model which is now replicable and scalable. From 40 schools, probably the Kalvi 40 has moved to 400 schools in Tamil Nadu, and it is really attracting a lot of corporate support. So we are happy that as a company, we were the pioneers to do this experiment, and is giving a substantial result. Okay. So
Fantastic,
one
sir.
more thing is skill building is another major area. If you look at the rural areas, the biggest problem is the jobs. So corporate cannot give so much of jobs for the rural, though we engage them, almost 70% of the workforce comes from the rural, but the requirement is huge. So what the people lack is the skill. So we build an ITI with a facility that is available in an engineering college. That kind of a rural infrastructure we built. We were trying to give this through this ITI. Almost every year we recruit about 150 trainees join, and 100% placement. So this is another area which we are trying to attempt. But the sad part of it is the people are not willing to join an ITI. They wanted to join a polytechnic or engineering, get a degree certificate, not a skill. But this one is really effective. We wanted to promote aggressively so that the skill building is the key for the rural children. Yes,
Fantastic,
Bala.
sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for sharing and very heartful to listen to you on the pioneer initiative that you have taken for the Adidra welfare schools and enabling digital connectivity and did not stop there by just giving access to education. You also gave them the right inputs to engage in activity by bringing in drama, theater, and all of that into the classrooms, making sure the learning happens in the classroom and making it 360 is a lot of people call it as holistic, but when you say teachers were trained, students were engaged, parents were coached and trained, so that's only is what like makes it holistic. If some of them like just focus on children, but that doesn't mix the holistic. So I think you have done a 360-degree impact, sir. Phenomenal. Very, very happy to know that like from 40 schools where you piloted, now it has gone to 400 schools. I am sure like is a great model to for all of us to learn also. We'll probably understand from you if there is a case study document that you could publish somewhere. We will be very happy to look into it, sir. All of us will be happy to explore, sir. Thank you so much for sharing that and your industry factories in tier 2, how you take care of the environment to education to healthcare, taking care of the whole community is outstanding, sir. Thank you so much for sharing, sir.
Thank you,
And
Bala.
now I'll move on to Poornima, ma'am. Ma'am, I know you are like one of the leading analytics and data and analytics giant, and in from your part of view, from a technology industry part of view, uh, what do you think the CSR activities focus currently for LatentView, and what is your plans to take them some of your models to tier 2 and tier 3 cities that like sir said like 40 schools, now it's scaled to 400 schools. What is your models that you have already implemented that can be scaled to tier 2 tier 3 and why it is important? Over to you, ma'am.
It's a pleasure to hear from Ravichandran sir on what the mammoth spread of work Ramco is doing. Thank you, Bala, for moderating this session. So very brief, as you rightly said, LatentView is one of the leading pure play analytics provider, and we are one of the first to go public in this sector, and we are based out of Chennai. I would say we're a young company. Having said this, when we defined our CSR portfolios, because we wanted to ensure it's aligned to how our growth path is and from where we will be able to focus our attentions, because our resources are not very high. We're just growing from the last 10 years. So with that in mind, we over the period of time, we have you know developed core flagship programs, two flagships, which have the potential to grow over circles from starting from in and around Chennai to the next sphere, to the next sphere. And that's the vision that we have, that we go from one sphere, which is currently in Chennai. We run a league called the Chennai Kalpand League, which is for football. And we are promoting football in government schools in Chennai. We do a league for the students and we give training before the league. After the league, students who are identified, we take in some. So this year we went to 20 government schools. We did training for them. Then we performed a league. We gave match play exposures. We invited students from other schools to also participate. And cream of students who are selected from there, we give them specialized training with partnering with A-League clubs of Chennai. And I would say a success of this is two girls have been placed in SDAT Namakkal. So two girls from Chennai interiors have been placed and their complete schooling football coaching, everything. And we are very happy to share that the parents also were, supportive to send the girls there. And I'm sure, I think one of them, our vision is we are supporting them to ensure that we have put them into a sustainable pathway. They come up and they represent somewhere football Tamil Nadu, then football India. Now, having said this, this league type of whatever we have as a flagship, our aim is as our resources also increase, we want to move it next to the district in and around Chennai and then interiors. But having said this, we understand the importance of Tier 2, Tier 3, and other than our flagship, which is our football education, promoting education, which is our theme through football. We also do one course, data analytics course for government school children in Chennai. And the third program, which is in Tier 2 and Tier 3, is we have taken up 4 to 5 focus village in the aspirational districts of Ramanathapuram, and we've partnered with our NGO partner Aid India, with whom we've been associated for more than 10 plus years. So we started from, I would say, from Chennai, but then slowly that program is something we could take right away to the interiors, to the aspirational district, because of the confidence we have had. We have worked with them. So we've adopted 4 focus villages where overall sports, skill development, training the teacher, after school for the children, all of that is done. And we could take that program directly to the Tier 2 and Tier 3, but our aim and hope is to take our 2 flagships, which is the CKL Chennai Kalpant League and Project Apurva, to the Tier 2 and Tier 3 sooner than later.
Phenomenal, ma'am. I think uh, uh, very, very happy to know that an analytics organization focusing on football for the underserved. Uh, very, very a lot of corporates I've seen, like they have some alignment with their business, some sort of a thought process around their business. Uh, uh, Not to benefit the business, but some sort of a giving back in alignment with the business goals is something that I've seen. But this is very, very unique and phenomenal work, ma'am. Very happy to know that like 2 of the girls have been selected in SDAT, and wishing them all the success, and wishing all the students who are part of your program to win laurels for the state and for India. Again, a 360-degree approach in terms of education and the physical wellness through sports is great to know. Very happy to be listening to. I've seen like a few corporates. I'm based out of Coimbatore. I've seen Walkaroo, the chappals, the manufacturers of the shoes and slippers. They also invest in football, coaching football for government school children in and around Coimbatore. They put a coach, they develop grounds and establish grounds in the government schools. So I think second and third in line, I'm listening to one more organization who are investing in sports. Very happy. And uh, 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 probably I'll take a minute to just share some of our success stories, or like some snippets from Cognizant. Cognizant, uh, we promote, or like we do invest our CSR funds majorly by our Cognizant Foundation, which is a separate sectionate company, and our focus is towards education, skilling, as well as in women and child health. Basically, in healthcare, our focus is into vision care, and then child, women and child health. And we started like way beyond like the CSR law came in. Our Cognizant Foundation is 20 years old, while the CSR law is 12 years old. So back then, our leadership knew that like giving back to community is way of our life, and it's part of our DNA. Like I think Ramco is also, none of them waited for a CSR law to come to give back to the community. And this 5% was too small for such large organizations. They all have been doing more than 5%. So Cognizant, formally, like through Cognizant Foundation, we do giving back to community. We identify NGOs, and there was no tier 1, tier 2. consideration, we went. We did not have our office in Odisha. We just launched our office 2 years back, but for the past 5 years, we have been working in Odisha to towards diabetic retinopathy screening and free surgery for children, and we have been doing programs in Tiruvallur, beyond Chennai, for maternal and child health and vision care in the rural villages. So it goes beyond. So one part like where I lead is the employee volunteering program. There again, like almost like all 13 to 15 cities where we operate, our employees are engaged in volunteering, giving back to the community. So beyond financial support through our CSR, by human resource capital, by sharing our time, talent, and technology, how can we make a difference is what through employee volunteering we do. Like I was sharing with ma'am earlier, support around like 50,000 plus volunteers every year, invest around 2 lakh plus hours of volunteering in various sectors, right from basic digital literacy, numeracy, to environmental conservation. We do lake cleanup activities, beach cleanup activities across India, wherever our offices are there. And 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 one of the alignment that triggered, like what when Purnima was sharing about the football. So we support a lot of para sports. Our volunteers in Bangalore, Chennai, and Coimbatore. We partner with NGOs who promote para sports, and our volunteers go there to help coach and train person with disabilities in in achieving in sports. One volunteer whom I keep talking, like a person name is Prasad in Coimbatore. He spends every Sunday in one of the para sports training center. The training happens for 2 hours in training two person with disabilities on table tennis. And every time the ball falls down, this Prasad for 2 hours, he picks the ball and then he gives it back to that person for them to continue playing. So likewise, we have hundreds of volunteers who are supporting in para sports, wheelchair cricket, blind cricket, wheelchair basketball, multiple para sports our volunteers are supporting. So this is something that like beyond the financial support, our employees go and give their human resource capital. So this is something that I thought like it just like when Purnima ma'am shared about football, I just got excited to share about this para sports training as well. So thanks for that time to share our social impact journey as well. So back to Ravichandran sir. Sir, like going to tier 2, tier 3 cities, right? Uh, while the reception and the people around receive it well, but there are also a lot of operational and cultural challenges that come in. And how do typically you handle like some pro tips for us? We are all like Purnima ma'am and us are like trying to get into deeper into the tier 2, tier 3 cities. So how do you handle it, like basically the cultural differences, and they look at it like, okay, you're coming from metro and all of that, like, so some tips from you, sir, please.
There is always a trust deficit on the corporates. That's the first thing which we have to overcome. So how can you overcome that trust deficit unless until you make some quick wins? It's you have to get the trust of the community. Second, not only on the quick wins, you should also have some sustainable, impactful programs. You have to balance this. Only then you'll be able to create a kind of a better relationship with the community. Second challenge is the quality NGOs in the rural area. Okay. So unless until we train the people, we create NGOs, we encourage them with a lot more training how to handle such activities. That is another challenging area. Third thing is there is always a community-based, a caste-based system which is prevalent in religious, and that is very, very strong. Unless until we understand the nuances of it and handle it, it's going to be a disaster. I'll give you a case study. We said we wanted to do a modern village close to our factory. Okay, we charted out, we drinking water, drainage system, toilets, everything we aligned. When we wanted to implement, a common toilet, people are not willing to because he says my place is getting affected. So then when we wanted to increase the drainage, he says this area to be done, that area should not be done. So there was a local cost system, politics comes in. So there is various of pressure groups which plays into it. So to overcome that, you have to focus on the ladies first. The women folks have to be taken into confidence. So that it is better to manage them and first implement programs which is more attractive to these women folks. For example, we want, instead of doing this community toilet, we said we will do the individual toilets, small toilets for the village. When we started doing it, we identified the beneficiaries. That is a process we did. And when it was done, we could gain the confidence and the support of the women, because all these days they were doing open defecation. Their adolescent children were subjected to a lot of other this thing. So when we gained the confidence of these women folks, we were able to, over the period of time, we were able to take the community support. So you have to break the trust deficit, quick wins, and long-term sustainable.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that's a pro trip, that establishing a trust in a new place to implement any social impact program. There is always a resistance, right from the government ecosystem, like a school. When you enter into a school, you go and tell that like I'm going to do a remedial education, do teaching, and there's a trust deficit there. Like the teachers' resistance will come, and all of that will start coming in. So that building trust is very tricky, and very happy to hear from that. Like that's the trick that you also follow, and like you said, like once the trust is established and things follow on. So I think thank you so much for that, sir. Poornima ma'am, you want to add anything around that, ma'am? Yeah, please.
I would just add one more point to what Mr. Ravichandran said. Yes, and that's the reason why I think when we think of any project, and I see CSR as any initiative as a project, it's very important. You may have a vision, you may have a lot of thoughts, but who handles and implements it? So the implementing partner is the most important leg piece, because we will be able to only go through them, navigate through them. And if they have the trust, they have the implementation efficiency, they have the passion, I think 90% of our job is done. Just one more thing which I would add in is uh, a lot of trust and belief in the partner. Definitely we have that. That's why we go and sign up with a partner. But I think it makes a long way when we are closely associated with the partner, not in changing their course of action, but value adding to what they bring to the table. I think if we give them the confidence that you're already doing a great stuff, I depend on you, but can we do this? So with that background in the mind, if we navigate with a partner, it really gives a lot of confidence to them, and success is assured.
I think thank you so much, ma'am, and very nice to hear from both of you as veterans using the word partner. In NGO, right? Like typically when we start CS, a lot of corporates consider the NGOs as a vendor, which is not the case. So the moment like you consider them as partners, that's when co-creation happens. And like you absolutely said, we have to supplement their passion with probably the financial funding and our analytics and our vision and strategy on top of it, not to change the course of their direction. I think
I
very
would like to
brilliantly
add
shared,
one
ma'am.
point in this,
Yes, sir.
Bala. Our own experience when we wanted to implement this Kalvi 40. So we told the organization, okay, we can fund, we can give you support through administration, everything can be done. But we don't have the expertise in running how the school has to be, how the program has to be implemented. And we gave him the open hand. Design a program, implement, give us a feedback. Every 6 months we will do a review and course corrections can be done. But the expertise, how to design a program and take it forward, it is purely the responsibility of the organization. We gave them the liberty, and I feel that was the success of that particular program.
100%, sir. Sometimes the word empowerment is a little bit abused. Like we say, like I'll empower you, but we still hold the key with us. But in your case, I can see that you have given them the whole empowerment for them to design, and that's what like 40 schools to 400 schools success is witnessed. If we had like held the key with us, I think the success would not have witnessed. Very very happy that so this is what the CSR fraternity should learn. I think this series, these sessions, when it goes on the social media, I think rest of the world, rest of the CSR practitioners should understand this best practices that such large organizations like you follow. Like, boss, I will augment you with financial capital or admin capital is required, but you make the difference. You are the expert. You are the subject matter expert. So that that confidence giving to them is very very key. And ma'am, selecting the right partner, like you said, is very important. Who has already instilled the trust in that community, then like 90% of the job is done, is what like you said. So thank you so much for those pro tips in terms of navigating the nativity, cultural differences, and entering into tier 2, tier 3 to make a difference. Though we are going to do good to the community, but still breaking that resistance and building the trust is very tricky. And thank you so much for the trips. So uh, in association with that, sir, well, there are like a lot of government schemes that are coming in. Like Poornima ma'am was sharing about the aspirational district program. In Tamil Nadu government, they have established a focus blocks development program, and you have Namma Sports Foundation. Ma'am, like the Tamil Nadu Deputy CM launched the Namma Sports Foundation to promote sports for the underserved segment, and through that, like a lot of students have benefited also. And in terms of environment, a lot of new schemes have come. Tamil Nadu Green Mission scheme. So with all of that, so many things coming in, and uh, uh, how do you think this collaboration of RCSR and the government ecosystem is working? Like, do you see any challenges? Do you see, like, are we really working in coherence with what is the intent that is happening already? Or do you think we are somewhere tangential, or like, how does that synergy can be brought in? Any thoughts, sir? Like, say the district administration's expectation is different, and we want to do something different. How is that like synergy is being established from a government ecosystem point of view, sir?
It's a very dicey subject to discuss. But
But
okay, see,
but good
it is like
practices
this.
alone, sir.
No, it is like this. Uh, in a cluster approach, like for example, a cement cluster, every company trying to do the same thing in a different way, it's not really meaningful. So in that way, if a district administration comes and unites all these cement, companies operating in a cluster, if they can drive a particular program, that will have a real good impact. For example, if you look at Namma School Thittam, earlier every school we used to do different kind of a thing. At least now they are trying to put all their requirement on the brand. Whoever wants, they can pick up and they can do. There is no duplication. So that kind of a synergy can taken between the government and the private sector, which are trying to implement the CSR. But sometimes when you put CSR for funding the gaps of government, gaps in the government program, then it becomes a very difficult part. That's a very challenging one. Many politicians, they don't understand the difference. They say CSR company, do the CSR through CSR. They don't understand why it has been done, how the impact has to be done, what is the law followed, law and how the procedure to be followed. They just go beyond boundaries trying to push things.
So, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I think uh, 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 one good example in Tamil Nadu is Namaskul Namavurupalli, which is actually bringing in equality in terms of distribution of the assets to investments across the 37,000 government schools in Tamil Nadu. Else, like a lot of redundant effect was happening in and around like Chennai, Coimbatore, and Trichy and Madurai. But the schools in Tirunelveli, Thoothukudi, Ramanathapuram were like deprived. So in one of the meetings, one of the district collectors said like, all of you are like focusing around the corporation limit, and you are telling that like you will add like two more smart classroom in the school, while I'm telling that in that like hill station there is a school where they don't have even a roof. So enough of smart boards here, like come and put me some roof. So I think that that sort of a synergy, if it is anchored by the district administration, bringing all together and then giving directions and not arm twisting, I think that will be phenomenal work. And a lot of collectors, a lot of district administration is doing that. And Tamil Nadu State Planning Commission is also under the Focus Block Development Program, is also bringing in that one umbrella where giving the priorities for the CSR and bringing in equality. So I think that evolution is happening, sir, and leaders like you voicing it out and probably trying to educate this ecosystem is evolving and making CSR w- w- and more impactful. So thank you so much, sir. Ma'am, any samples or case studies that you want to add in terms of working in tandem with the government institutions, ma'am?
Yeah, so just to add on to what Sir said, I think I was invited to the very first Namma Chennai when they were thinking of the concept and when the government was reaching out to CSR professionals. Uh, I am quite positive about this because not only in Tamil Nadu, so we have a branch in Karnataka in Bangalore.
Mm,
So Karnataka government also recently did this. I
yeah.
think the government is getting aware that they cannot implement it with the autocratic view. It's very
Mm,
democratic now. They want to invite people, take their
yes.
inputs. How much is going to go forward is will definitely depend more on the intent and how they're doing it. But I think intent is very clear. Approach is good because they're taking inputs, they're open to it, they are meeting. And in fact, in Chennai, in the government of Tamil Nadu, the block development program was excellently implemented because I attended one program such in Chengalpat district, and then they said they did some in Trichy, Tirunelveli, and all of that,
Madurai.
Madurai, everywhere. So all these are seeds to say good things to happen
So the
in the
government is
future.
listening and making it collaborative rather than autocratic.
And the
So
second advantage of this is uh, the beneficiaries also get the confidence. I think that's very important because,
true.
as sir was saying, when we are navigating through the government schools and all that, they always have, nah, okay, I am interested. I don't know if I'll get the approval.
Mm,
I don't know if the government will support this, but now everything is going through a way where first they understand they have to, the corporates have government approvals, government is streamlining it, government is interested. Their confidence also increases. That is also very important.
phenomenal, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think great insights from both of you. Uh, uh, one aspect, right? Like the flagship program, ma'am, Poornima, ma'am. If I put this question to you, your CKL, right? Chennai. I mean, the Kalpand, the league, the football. Uh, uh, Give us some tips in terms of some framework that you adopt to ensure like there is the impact that is witnessed, like what are the metrics that you have established in the program, how do you actually monitor, like we see that like two students have reached a place in the SDAT, but I'm sure the training is happening for hundreds and hundreds of students. How do you measure, how do you progress, and how do you track the progress of the student? So any frameworks that you could share will be
Sure.
really helpful, ma'am.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Just wanted to add on that our project won the best project in CSR box 2 years back, and MCCI awarded this project. So I think the energy intent is MCCI this year gave us the best project award. We were the runners up in this. I would say all this as is happened because of pure intent and passion with which we as a company involve our employees and have driven it. One takeaway that I would say I personally, so the, we initiated the seed 5 years back. It's just been 4 during COVID. I think we had a 2 year gap. So we completed our fifth season now. And in 5 seasons, if we have been able to see sustainable pathways where, the story that I said is just one off. I think there are multiple stories like this which have come up. Uh, I would say my personal, reason for this is when we started, it was just an idea. Year after year, first thinking about it as it's going back to the drawing table as soon as the league happens, what next, what it is, that really helped. Second, when we started applying for awards for conference meeting, so the questions that the chief guest asks is very important because it helped us know, oh, okay, you have to look into this. How did we do this? So that was very important. The third year, we figured out that the partner, we and our employees together are sitting and saying what to be done, how do we make it sustainable? And then the thought came that we are not the experts. So we called in a fraternity meet in our office. So we called umpires, football coaches, umpires, NGO partners who are already into football, not only our partners, but there are numerous NGO partners in deep districts who are doing this out of pure intent. We call them. We called, football clubs, and we called people who play football. All of this, we had a meet to say, look, this is my idea. I want to make it better. I want to make it big. Is my intent right? What do I do? We got some wonderful ideas through which we have taken as KRAs of how we can move this program to a bigger thing. So I think that was, if we reach out to people who are best in this, try to get ideas from them, because definitely when the energy and intent is there, I think everything becomes better, bigger, and really good. And that has really helped. So two things is, one, calling a fraternity meet, taking ideas from people. Second is constantly thinking about how to make it better and looking at different pain points. So in fact, in that meet, we even called parents, beneficiaries, school PT teachers. All this has helped because they gave their problem, someone else is giving their problem, what can coaches gave their problem. So it was all only problems discussed. But in the problem discussion, we also got solutions of how we can mitigate it and make it better. And believe me, we've added so many things after that meet, like higher nutrition, transportation for the kids, security for the kids, insurance. So there are a lot of things we've been able because we reached out to the community, and that's very important.
So much. I think making it consultative with the right subject matter expertise, and sometimes, like you said, like if the intent is right, the universe conspires by itself. So I think if not the intent is right, you would not have find that right people like the umpires, the other clubs, and all of them to go to improvise the program year over year and edition by edition. So thank you for sharing that. That's one of the important tips, is that like, hey, don't just consult with your implementation partner, invite the experts from all around and make it a consultative meeting and understand the best practices and implement it and put into KRA. Thank you so much for the tip, ma'am. Sir, anything you would like to add in terms of the frameworks?
It was a very interesting thing, ma'am. What we did in our signature program of Aditya Welfare School is, when these children, we gave them all the inputs through various trainers kind of a thing. But what we thought is, how do we infuse the confidence in these children? Then we started conducting one, wherever we had our facility, like Ramco Cement has a lot of facility. So we used to bring all these children, the selected children, to the camp, the Ramco facility. We used to invite collector to be the chief guest of the meeting. Then our senior officials will participate. So when they were able to perform in front of all these people, when they get the award, the kind of joy they enjoy getting it from the district collector. So that infused a lot of confidence to the children. So we started, instead of, we initially started once in a year. Now we started once in 3 months. So we were able to bring in a lot of people. Then the request from the teachers were, we wanted to enlarge the group. Instead of few children getting this, then why not we move to the schools? the cluster of schools, 2, 3 schools can be joined together. All children can participate. So every children will like to know how the competition takes place and who comes in as a chief guest, what kind of awards that is being distributed. So it was an inspiring story. So these 4 years of experience, we were able to gain a lot of insight in how we can really infuse that kind of a confidence building measure into this underprivileged children. And I'm telling you, we learn a lot from the children rather than what we try to give it to them.
Very true, sir. Very true, sir. And a lot of times, sir, for the lack of, I mean, for the larger understanding and discussion, we commonly use the word like underserved, underprivileged, economically weaker section, all of that. But by the stories that you, ma'am, and share, uh, I keep telling like I use a different word called they are all opportunity deprived. So, like you and ma'am have created the opportunity for those children to perform. You have created that avenue and platform for them to perform, and they are shining like anything. So, I think they are opportunity deprived, and thanks to you, organizations like you with uh, uh, CSR not being a checklist activity or a check rating
Absolutely.
activity, it is from the heart. And ma'am, from the beginning, her point is intent. Intent is very important, is what she has been emphasizing. If the intent is pure, clean, things will just fall in place. So I think very, very beautiful insights, and I am so privileged to learn, listen, and probably ask few questions from you. While CSR around like 25, 30,000 crores is just 1% of what social sector as such is being doing. The government's social sector investment is around 24 lakh crores, and the private social sector investment in India is around like 1.2 lakh crores, which is like 30,000 from CSR, 30,000 from philanthropy, and another 40,000 from the foreign funds and all of that grants. It's around like 1.25 crores. It's just like 4% of private social sector investment that we're talking about. And what we all represent is just like 1% in that 4% in CSR of 25,000 crores. But within that 1%, if all of you, the leaders like Ravi sir, Poornima ma'am, you are putting in your heart and soul and making sure that every penny is making the right impact, I think the future of like we achieving Viksit Bharat by 2047, and the youngest nation in the world is in the safe hands, and all of us together definitely can make wonders. I'm so thankful, Shubham, for creating this opportunity to interact with Ravi sir and Poornima ma'am. A phenomenal opportunity for me to interact and listen and learn the best practices. Thank you so much for both